Hi, 40 years in radio, and what do I have to show for it? A lot of good memories, plus some really great video. And somebody asked me, how did I even get into radio? Well, here's how.
College for a couple of years and decided I'd go to radio school because I thought being a disc jockey would be a lot of fun. I came from kind of a musical family and I wanted to make music part of my lifelong career. So that's basically how it happened. And after I got out of radio school, I got a job at a female radio station. Now this is a station in Chicago. I just happen to have my little scrapbook with me here. It was called WSDM Chicago. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this was the station with the girls in stereo 24 hours a day. This was back in 1970, and it was kind of a progressive thing. This is what I looked like in those days. Yeah, I looked a little bit different in those days, just a little bit. I was the age of 21 at that time, and it was quite a great job. I was the host of a nightly rock program called The Den of Infinity. The Den of Infinity was the first progressive rock show in Chicago, and I was one of the hostesses of that program. It was on from 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. at night. I worked 5 nights a week, and that was my very first job in 1970. Had that job for 2 years. Then I went to work for ABC as a secretary. Then I moved to California, where I got my next job in radio at KYMS. Then I moved to Santa Maria, where I managed a station and I was on in the afternoon. Then I moved to Bakersfield, where I became a full-fledged disc jockey. I didn't have to manage, I didn't have to do secretary work or traffic or continuity or anything. I was able to be a disc jockey. And here's a picture of my scrapbook of all the little surveys that I had when I worked in Bakersfield.
And then everybody told me if I went to Bakersfield and did radio there, I'd wind up in LA, and they were right. 1 year after I got to Bakersfield, I got a job offer to go to LA, KGBS, and KGBS AM became 10Q, and 2 little high school boys made a home movie of me working at 10Q. Here it is.
KTNQ, Los Angeles. 10Q, it's 1 o'clock in the morning with Nancy Plum on LA's original rock and roll radio station. Alrighty, the Plum on a late Friday night, early Saturday morning, but 3 minutes after 1 o'clock, and Kiss. Q 107, Boston. It's been such a long time. 2 hours, and 2 minutes, Take your time. I'm a patient woman when it comes to affairs of the heart, but don't be ridiculous with me. I'm going to get you one way or another. Blondie on 10Q.
10Q, playing only the best music.
10Q, how it slips indeed. 116. Good times. Oh, summertime and nighttime. Good times already. In the summertime, it means listening to a new album over and over again. One of my favorites to come out this summer is the new Electric Light Orchestra album, Discovery. Another tasty cut off that album. Don't Bring Me Down. Oh, this song could never do that.
So that was 10Q. After 10Q was sold, the station was sold and it went Hispanic radio, they let us go with the biggest paycheck I ever got in my life, by the way. Severance pay, almost 12 grand. Went home to the boyfriend and said, let's go to Greece. So we went to Greece for 2 weeks and had a really great time. Then I came back and got a job part-time at KMPC Los Angeles, where I was working with some pretty heavy guys. Carrie Owens was working there, Wink Martindale, Robert W. Morgan. They threw me on overnight. And the overnight engineer that I had made a video of me on the air there.
Barbra Streisand. Kiss Me in the Rain. Something that won't take too much accommodation at this time of the night, this particular time. It is sprinkling around the Southland. Need I remind you, I'm Nancy Plum, 22 minutes after 12 o'clock, and vending machines can steal a great deal of your time and pleasure. That's why a quality vending service is a must. We'd like to recommend Coffee Time Vending Machines. They have a full service that's yours for a phone call to 269-0555. Candy, soft drinks, cigarettes, and coffee vending machines. Coffee Time operates a fleet of radio-equipped cars. They are the best kind. To speed service to your needs. For your office, factory, or club, call Coffee Time at 269-0555.
After KMPC let me go and replaced me with the Larry King Show, I was co-hosting a country western show called Country Report Countdown with Ron Martin, and I was asked by Channel 28, the local PBS station, to help them out during one of their auction fundraising events, and I've got a little clip of that. I said a little clip, right?
Okay, we're moving along really fast here on Auction 81. We have a new auctioneer I'd like to introduce to you. This is Nancy Plum. Nancy is co-host of the Country Report Countdown, a nationally syndicated radio program. Nancy, welcome to Auction 81. Tell us about the Golden Gavel.
Thank you very much. Now, this is the Golden Gavel, of course, and our next item is a bell ringer special. It's not how high you bid, it's how fast you bid. Now, we're going to put a special low price on this item, and the first 12 bidders who call in a bid of exactly $7, okay, that's $7. The regular price is $9.95. It's going to be $7, will be the winners. Now, reviewers called this book provocative and delightful. The title speaks for itself. Don't ever retire, but do it early and often. All right, autograph by its author, Joseph Schwartz. Howard Jarvis calls it one of the most important books of our time. Now remember, if at first you don't retire, try again. All righty, $7, the first 12 ringers. Do we have any bids yet? $7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, we need 12. We have 4 so far. Is that 5 again? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more. One more to go. Whoop, 12. Sold. Photo donated by Edward Western Editions went to Joe Seminero for $305, and the Ruth Serigraph donated by a friend of KCET went to Robert Rios for $170.
After KMPC, I worked at Universal City Studios for a couple of years, handling the radio promotions. And I was replaced by the fellow who had that job before me. He came back, I got let go. In the meantime, I got a job at KFI Los Angeles, which is amazing. They hired me to do weekends there. I did weekends for 4 years. I never did get full time, but I handled a talk show that Steve LeBeau dreamed up. He heard this show in San Francisco called Dateless and Desperate, and he said, let's do that here at KFI. And it was called The Affection Connection. This was before the internet. It was in the mid-'80s. I would connect people over the radio. They'd go out on dates. It was like a little personnel service, and I actually found out there were 5 couples that got married just from me connecting them on the radio. Here's a little clip of me working at KFI.
This is my producer, Edith Machado, who this show would not be possible if I didn't have her helping me out. No, I'm not kidding you.
Nancy, just go ahead.
She's a whiz on the phones. She's the best producer in all of Los Angeles. And you can't have her. She's all mine.
Thanks, Aunt. This is my Aunt
I'll pay you double. I'll pay you double. You gotta stay here.
No problem.
You want a raise? No.
The guy that hired me at KFI was Steve LeBeau. He was program director there. He left and went over to KLAC and hired me to do 7 to midnight. So 4 years of part-time work at KFI. By 1988, I was done with that. Early in 1988, Steve LeBeau calls me up, says, come on over to KLAC. I want you to do 7 to midnight. So there I am, playing classic country. I hosted a little thing at night called Traditional Turn-In Hour from 11 to 12, where we'd feature really old country music. It was a lot of fun and get to tell stories about the artist. And then Steve left, went to a new job. I got a new program director who put me on overnights. And the name of my show at that time was Overnight Overdrive. So I was at KLAC until K-Earth came calling. Went to K-Earth, worked there for a year. And then after that, Star 98. And after Star 98, I got hired by Shadow Broadcast Services. And the rest, as they say, is history. I did news for them for a lot of different radio stations. And I also wound up as an airborne reporter with Metro Networks from 2000 to 2004. And that, in a capsule, is my radio career in Los Angeles. Now, in 2004, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, to take care of my late mother. And I was hired by WSB to do traffic, and also did news for a couple of the other Cox radio stations. And finally, I'm semi-retired now, moved to Lexington, Kentucky, where I live now, and work part-time when they need me at the Cumulus stations there. And that pretty much is my entire 40-year career in radio. Now it's kind of going on 40 plus.
KTNQ, Los Angeles. 10Q. It's 1 o'clock in the morning with Nancy Plum on LA's original rock and roll radio station.